So guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Red Minds TV. And in today's video, of course, I'll be doing my Premier League predictions, and this weekend is of course match week 6. And as you can see on the screen right now, these were match weeks 5, last week's results. Of course, we saw Brentford managing to beat Wolves 2-0. We saw Southampton take a point against City, and we also saw Brighton beating Leicester and their chaotic game, which was West Ham taking on Man U. And that saw Manchester United winning save a penalty in the 93rd minute to win the game from David De Gea. So really good weekend in terms of results for some teams, and the football in general is really good as well. But of course, we have to move on now to match week 6. But before we get into that, of course, we're going to go over my points I received for match week 5 predictions, and it wasn't very good. I got my lowest points total so far of the week, which of course for week 5 I got a total points of 12, which takes the total points out of the last couple of weeks to 48. The things I got right, of course, I got a Bamford goal, a Filia goal, Tony goal, Mane goal, Salah goal, Vardy goal, Ronaldo goal, Benrahma goal, and the results I got right were, of course, the Manchester United result, the Chelsea result, the Liverpool result, the Arsenal result, and that was it. So it wasn't a good weekend for me at all, so we have to improve this weekend. And of course, we have some really interesting fixtures coming up. Of course, we have the London derby, which is Arsenal taking on Spurs. We have Chelsea taking on Man City in the early kickoff. Of course, we have Liverpool-Brentford, Manchester United taking on Aston Villa as well. So we have a load of really good games to look forward to on the weekend. So it's time to go over them and predict them for this weekend. And of course, we start off with Chelsea taking on Manchester City, the top 2 favourites to go on and win the league this season, clash very early on in the season. Of course, Chelsea unbeaten, Man City, of course, unbeaten as well. And they're both, Man City last week, of course, dropped some points against Southampton. Chelsea, of course, got a really good win over Spurs as well in that London derby. So this game should be really good, and it's going to be a great way to kick off the weekend. But my prediction for this game, I am going to go Chelsea to win this game by 2-1. The way they're playing at the moment, they just look unstoppable. Against Spurs, they gave Spurs absolutely no chance in that game. They defended really well. They've got the balance in the midfield. Of course, we know Lukaku up front. Wood is getting goals now as well. So it's going to be a really interesting game. It's going to be end to end. But I see Chelsea winning this game. I just think City will be low in confidence coming off that result against Southampton, and I do believe Chelsea will continue their form that they are on at the moment against Manchester City on the weekend. Goal scorers wise, I'm going to say Lukaku, and I'm going to say Havertz to score for Chelsea, and for Man City, I'm going to say Jack Grealish. I do think City will score first, but I do think Chelsea will come back and win the game by 2-1. And we move on to the next game, Manchester United taking on Aston Villa, and of course Manchester United joint top with Chelsea. And we started the season really well. Of course, we're coming off of that cup defeat to West Ham yesterday, and of course a nervy game against West Ham on the weekend. I'm just so thankful we managed to walk away with 3 points. But yeah, we're coming up against Villa, who are a side that this season have been tipped to finish in the Europa League places. Got a really good win last week against Everton. So yeah, they're going to be a really tough side to come against, with a lot of good players in that side as well. Buendia, Danny Ings, and I think that, playing Aston Villa, we have a decent record against them. Of course, get into the preview for that game tomorrow midday or tomorrow night, something like that. But for my prediction for this game, I'm going to go Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 1. I do think there'll be a lot of goals in this game. I think it'll be a very tight game at the start. Aston Villa may score first again, but I am backing my team, Manchester United, to win this. We're on good form in the league, and of course, we're going to have all our players back that weren't playing in the Carabao Cup, so they got a rest, and they should be ready for this game on the weekend against Aston Villa. But I'm scared for Aston Villa. I'm scared by Aston Villa as well, because they do have a good few players in that side, but they are conceding goals, they are scoring goals as well. So it's going to be a really interesting game. But I'm backing Manchester United to win this 3-1. I'm going to go Ronaldo to bag another 2 goals. I just think he's incredible at the moment. And for and the other goal, I'm going to say Mason Greenwood. And for Aston Villa, I'm going to say Buendia. So we move on to the next game. Everton taking on Norwich. And it's fair to say, Norwich, they're looking like already they're going to be going down this season. They're still pointless. They haven't got any points on the board. They're not looking convincing. Of course, I lost to Leicester last week as well. I think that was 2 weeks ago. I'm not too sure. Yeah, they lost to Leicester 2 weeks ago. I don't know who they played last week, though. Like, of course, they lost to Watford, didn't they? Yeah, that was last week's result. And for Everton, of course, they're coming off a hammering as well. Lost 3-0 to Villa, and they're gonna want to bounce back. So for this game, I'm gonna say Everton 2, Norwich 0. Everton at home are quite good at the moment. They're playing some good football. You know, unlucky to lose that game 3-0 last week. Not unlucky, but it was just an unlucky defeat for them. Really, they didn't turn up on the day. So I do think they're gonna bounce back into this really poor Norwich side. So I'm gonna just say 2-0. I'm gonna say goals from Damari Gray. I'm going to say Damari Gray to get both goals to Everton on the weekend. So yeah, 2-0 and Damari Gray to get both goals. Sorry, Norwich fans, I don't think you'll be picking up a result anytime soon under how you're playing at the moment. And we move on to what should be a really good game. Leeds United taking on West Ham. Leeds, of course, still looking for that first win for this season. Of course, drew to Newcastle last week. And of course, West Ham, they're coming off a decent result as well, aren't they? No, they're not, because we beat them, didn't we? But in the Carabao Cup, I mean, they beat us 1-0 as well. So yeah, for the Premier League, they're coming off a defeat as well. So I mean, it's going to be a tricky game. But for this game, I am going to say Leeds United 1, West Ham 1. I think it'll be a point in this game. I thought the piece for both teams. I think Leeds United, and of course, still looking for that first win. West Ham are solid defensively. That's why I do think Leeds will struggle in this game to find the net. Although, of course, West Ham, with the way Leeds play, can definitely get at them. With Antonio, should be back. I'm not too sure if it was a 1-game ban or 2-game ban, but he might be back for this game. Ben Rama is firing goals at the moment, so I expect this game to have goals. But I'm going with a 1-1, and I think it'll be a tight game between the both teams. So 1-1, I'm going to say Rafinha for Leeds, and for West Ham, I'm going to say Jared Bowen. We move on to Leicester taking on Burnley. Of course, Leicester coming off a shock defeat to Brighton last weekend. Burnley, of course, still pointless as well, losing to Arsenal. So I think Leicester will win this game quite convincingly. I am going to go with another 2-0. I think Leicester, of course, they want to bounce back. We know Brendan Rodgers. We know he can pick up that team and get results for Leicester. And I think he'll be doing that against a really poor Burnley side at the moment, who are, you know, especially are struggling to pick up points at the moment, aren't they? So yeah, Leicester 2, Burnley 0. I'm going to say goals from Jamie Vardy, and I'm going to say Harvey Barnes to bag one goal as well. Yeah, so 2-0. I think it'll be quite a convincing win for Leicester in this game. And we move on to Watford taking on Newcastle. And these are two teams I tipped, you know, to get relegated this season. So you could say already it's a 6-pointer, really. I'm not going to lie. Although Watford have started the season much better. 2 wins out of the first couple of games for Watford as well. So, you know, they started the season much better than Newcastle. Newcastle still looking for that first win as well. And personally, I think they're going to get it in this game. I really do. I think it'll be, I'm going to say, a 1-0 Newcastle. I think it'll be a very boring game. But I do think Alan St. Maximin will, you know, show his magic again and score for Newcastle and provide them that first win. You know, I was thinking maybe Watford will score against this poor Newcastle side who are, you know, they're leaking goals at the moment. But for me, I think it'll be a very tight game. I think Newcastle now have to look at, you know, we have to start getting points on the board. So they're going to have to be better defensively. So for me, I'm going to say Newcastle 1-0, Alan St. Maximin. We move on to Brentford taking on Liverpool. And of course, Brentford, another really impressive win last week against Wolverhampton. They're really surprising me so far this season. I think to go down, and at the moment they're not showing signs of really bad form or relegation form, are they? I know they've struggled after that first result that they got on the first day of the season, but since then they've been playing well. Unlucky to lose a few games. Got a result last week, but for Liverpool, I think it's going to be another convincing win. I do think just a 2-0 to Liverpool on the day. I think Brentford will definitely have chances in this game. There's no doubt about that. They will definitely have chances against Liverpool. But the way Liverpool are playing at the moment, they're way too strong. They're back better than ever. They've got Van Dijk back. Salah and Mane firing in the goals again. The midfield is there. So for me, 2-0 Liverpool. I'm going to say Salah and a goal for I'm going to say, no, 2 goals for Salah. I think that the form Salah's on at the moment is incredible. I think he scored every single game they played. If I'm correct in saying that, maybe 1 game he hasn't scored. But yeah, for me, 2-0, Salah to get 2 goals against Brentford. And of course, we move on to the next game, Southampton taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. And this should be a good game as well. Southampton managing to get a really, really impressive point against Man City in a 0-0 draw. But Wolverhampton, of course, struggled again last week. Struggled again under a new manager to find another result. Of course, lost 2-0 to Brentford. They'll be wanting to bounce back. But for this game, I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves. I see Wolves winning this game. I know Southampton have been playing quite good. You know, of course, got that result last week. But Wolverhampton, you know, they have quality in there. I think it's going to come out this weekend. And of course, they're going to want to come back from that Brentford defeat last weekend. So I'm going to 2-1 Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm going to say Trincao and Podence to score. And for Southampton, I'm going to say Djenepo to bag 1. And we move on to the next game, which is Arsenal taking on Tottenham Hotspur. The game on Sunday, which everyone wants to watch. It's a London derby. It's two crack teams playing each other. So yeah, it's a really hard one to call. I cannot call this one at the moment. Arsenal, of course, got a big win, a big win against Burnley last weekend. A 1-0 win, or a 0 to the Arsenal. And then for Spurs, they got battered by Chelsea, and now you're willing to bounce back and win this London derby. But for me, I do think this London derby will be a draw. I'm going to say Arsenal 2. I'm going to say Tottenham 2. I think it will be goals in this game. Both teams are leaking goals. Both teams, can score goals. Well, Arsenal haven't proved that very much this season. But I think Arsenal always turn up in this London derby. Spurs want to turn up, so I'm expecting a really good game. Goals-wise, I'm going to say Aubameyang to bag and Lacazette if he plays. If not, I'm going to say Odegaard again. And for Spurs, I'm going to say 2 goals for Harry Kane. I think it'll be 2-2. I think it'll be a close game, a good game to watch. But I think both teams will be walking away with a point. We move on to the final game of the weekend. Crystal Palace taking on Brighton. And I do see this game in the way of Crystal Palace. I think, they were unlucky to play Liverpool last season. They came off a good result against Spurs and then played Liverpool. And for Brighton, they're on a roll at the moment, aren't they? So I don't know why I'm backing Crystal Palace to win this game. But I just think they will. The goal from Edouard will settle this game for me. But let me know what you guys think down below, guys. Let me know what you thought of my predictions, of course, for the game on the weekend or the games on the weekend. Let me know what your guys' predictions are as well. But make sure to smash a like if you are new. Subscribe down below as well if you are new. And of course, smash a like on the video. It'd be much appreciated. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for Match Week 6 Premier League predictions. And of course, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.